What is up, guys? I'm Kyle at Fortune. Today we're focusing on the rear axle, upgrading the suspension, and welding on some armor. Unlike the Samurai front axle, the rear has a lot of stuff attached to it, including 2 brake lines and a parking brake cable. So there's a lot of stuff to take off there. Once we get all of that disconnected, it'll be time to weld on some diff armor, our perches, and then I'm also going to try to find a way to put a front axle truss onto the rear. The long side of the axle tube also houses the axle breather. So in order to get that front truss on there, that breather area is going to have to be modified. After drilling out a place for the breather using a 1 1/4 hole saw, I put the truss on. I used a 4-pound hammer to bend it into shape. Since this truss was designed for use on a front axle, it doesn't fit the rear tightly. I split all of these clips so it looks like I just welded it up all at once, but with these thin housings, they're only an 1/8 inch thick. I only weld about 2 to 3 inches at a time, and then I take a 5-minute break and find something else to do so the axle doesn't get super hot. It takes a long time to weld it this way, but having a straight housing when you're finished is well worth the wait. Compared to the Samurai front springs, these rear springs are actually pretty decent. This is probably due to their extended length. They're a little bit longer than the front springs, and they also have an overload leaf at the bottom that helps them from bending negative too much and also helps with a heavier payload. The end with the large bushing needs to be drilled or burned out. Then the sleeve is best extracted by cutting one side and hammering it out. This takes quite a bit of time, but it's worth it to get those new bushings in there. Everything welded on and the housing painted up, we can put it back in and start connecting everything. This is something you definitely want a second person for. I did this one by myself because the wife was busy watching the kiddo. If you're gonna do it alone, you gotta get creative. seen a bunch of videos of people running front axle trusses on their rear Samurai axles, just like I'm doing. but I've never seen how they did it. So this is how I did it. I left a gap in the top, and that's going to allow water and dirt and all of that to get in there. So I left 2 portions on the axle seam unwelded so all that stuff can drain out. This probably isn't the best way to do it in hindsight, so I'm thinking of ways where I could cap it off and maybe put a vent tube on there, something that can just take like a hose or something. Let me know what you guys think. I definitely don't want a bunch of water trapped in there, and I think the housing would also be a little bit stronger if it was just one piece with that truss. But as of right now, I'm not 100% sure how to fix that. Well, that's about it for this video, guys. In the next video, we're going to get into the assembly of this axle, which is much more interesting to a bunch of you. I've had a bunch of people contact me and ask me about some posts I've made on Facebook and Instagram. And one of those is doing the SJ410 backing plate mod for this rear axle. And also the wheel bearings can be a little bit tricky for people as well. I did them both, I had pretty good success. The 410 mod is kind of a big deal if you plan on wheeling a bunch, because it allows you to remove the axle shafts without disassembling all of the brakes. So that'll be in the next video. As usual, don't forget to subscribe. If you guys have any feedback for me or any ideas on things you'd like to see, put them down in the comments and let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.